All right, hi guys, Bruce from Bruce's Outdoors. Well, it's Wednesday, we're going to do a little bit of cooking tonight. Today we're going to cook some venison. I got a couple little small steaks here we're going to cook. Going to have some asparagus, a little bit of onions. It's going to be wonderful, so stay tuned. First thing we do, we're going to season this up. You want to also, the deer steak is just like any other steak. You want to let it sit out, come to room temperature. I like to season mine well. You can season yours any way you like. I use a little black pepper, a little onion powder, a little garlic salt, and I use these hillbilly pops, made in Oregon, and you can look him up on Facebook. Wonderful. Give it a try. He's got 3 different flavors in it, but I like this one here. He's got one for pork and he's got one that's real spicy, so give him a try. And I always use a little shot of liquid smoke. I love the flavor of this stuff. We're going to throw a little butter in here. We're going to get this baby going. All right, we're almost ready to go here. That butter around in that pan. This is going to be good. I can't wait to try it. And you got to remember when you're cooking venison, you don't want to cook it too long or it'll dry out. And I'm one that likes well done meat, but even on the venison, you got to back it off a little bit, and you want it to cook, but you don't want it to overcook, because then it's not very tasty if it's overcooked. We're going to throw some onions up here in a sec. We're going to let that get a little closer to done. I'm going to rinse these onions off. Alright, we're going to put our onions up here on the side. We're going to get them cooking right along with our steak. Then we're going to cook some asparagus. We're going to rinse this asparagus off. And get it ready. You just let it break where it wants to. And them onions smell good. I love onions. So we're going to let that steak go just a little bit longer. We're going to give it a flip here. Give our onions a little go. Then I have a little more butter in here. We don't want that butter to get going over here with the onions. And now we're going to add those asparagus. I like using this big skillet because I can cook all my stuff at one time in one skillet. And we're just going to let these guys get tender. We're gonna let these guys get tender. We're gonna put a little seasoning on them, just like it's meat. I put a little onion powder, same thing I put on the meat. A little black pepper. And a little bit of the hillbilly pops on there. And now we got everything going. And you want to, I like to start my steak a little before anything else because it takes the longest to get done. And then we're just going to mix our onions here. Let our onions get cooked. And our onions, we got our steak going. Got our asparagus going. And we are just moving right along here. Well, as you know, try to cook a different dish every Wednesday. That's my goal. Next week, make sure you follow. It's squirrel season here in Georgia. I'm going to get out and try and get a couple of squirrels to cook for us next week. And that should be really good because squirrel is very, very good. So we're going to go ahead and, we cooking right along here. Our meat's getting, I don't want her to get too, we want her done, but we don't want it overcooked. And my asparagus. So it should be very tasty. And I know a lot of people don't like venison because they say you get a wild taste to it. Well, what you want to do is, I soak mine in salt water for a few hours before I cook it. And that helps get some of the blood out, takes the wild taste away. And you want to make sure there's no fat on it, no silver skin at all. You just want meat. Nice steak, nothing but meat, so that when you cook it, that will help cut down on that wild taste also. So those are just a few things to do so you don't taste that wildness in it. Onions are looking really good. And our steak is getting pretty close. Close enough that I'm going to grab a plate and we'll be ready to go here in a few minutes. Alright, well, onions are good, so we're going to plate these onions right quick. I love onions. Onions are so good, especially if I'm from Oregon, and we get what's called Walla Walla sweets. Here in Georgia, they got Valdalias. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and they're really sweet. Asparagus is ready. I think that steak's good too. And now we got our steak. Well, there's a nice dinner right there. We're going to turn that off and we'll see you at the table in a few minutes. All right, guys, we made it to the table. Now it's time to eat. Yes, this venison is wonderful. I'm going to go through onions here. It's tasty. I love these onions. They're so sweet and good. Throw in the asparagus. That little deer steak makes a wonderful dinner. Just enough because it's so lean. So remember, get a chance to eat some venison. Soak it in a little salt water. Make sure there's no silver skin on it. Cook it up and you will really enjoy it. So remember, keep the line wet. We'll see you next Wednesday. Or we'll hopefully be cooking squirrel if I can get out and get us one. So enjoy.